Welcome everyone to the Poor Guy Whiskey Review. This episode is dedicated to this little offering right here from the Solu Estate Winery. They also have a distillate branch there where they actually are blending bourbons to create new expressions for us all. And in this little bottle here that was so generously donated to the channel, I would say we should start here. This is going to be one of those I don't know, is it one of those things where you just go, oh geez, thanks for donating this bottle to me, I'm going to give you a good review? Is the juice in here going to be able to stand up to some of the other distilleries in Wisconsin? So that's our competition, not just the entire world of whiskey, but mostly just what we have here. This is what I'm interested in. It's not necessarily a world perspective, but it could end up to be that way. Maybe Working Dog whiskey will take over the world. Anyway, let's give it a try, shall we? As you can see, there's a tad bit missing in here from earlier attempts at making this stupid video. All right, so here we go. Oh, not too far. About 2 hours away from here in Cascade, it's telling me. Yeah. Hang on, I got another call. Yo. Oh, get back to the video. Sure, thanks. Okay, bye. Hello. Yeah. Bird dog. Working dog? Well, how many dogs are there? There's tons of different dog whiskeys, right? Yeah, but we're only working with Working Dog right now. It's the only one that wants to show up. Okay. All right, bye. Sorry, everyone. All right. There it is, folks. Working Dog whiskey. I shall read the back of the bottle, but until I don't know if my glasses are clean enough, but let's just get right to it. The nose. Well, before I get too far into this little bitty bottle, I would like to discuss something. And this is basically for everyone out there. Whether you're new to bourbon or not, one of the legendary people in bourbon passed away last week, and his name was David Sweet. And the reason why I'm aware of all this is because David Sweet actually was working with Working Dog, and with many irons in the fire, suddenly passed away. And I don't want to get into details. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I think it was something to do with the heart, maybe. But that being said, they're feeling the loss at Working Dog at the Solu Estate Winery. And they were working very closely to start a brand, and this is one of the offerings. So before I go too deep in here, I'm just going to give a toast to David Sweet and to all the people who knew David. And there's pretty much everybody in the industry knows David. You know, David's been around. There's going to be a list of his accomplishments over his lifetime in the whiskey world. Everybody that's anybody knows David. And this is one of his offerings. So before I go ahead and review this, I want to be fair and just be a guy toasting the passing of another guy, and with no review in mind, just a sip. Thank you, David. Rest in peace. And on that sip, a lot of things come to mind. One, all right, as a whiskey guy, whether you're drinking a bourbon or a whiskey or whatever, they're all whiskeys, right? That's why I named this channel The Whiskey Review, because it's pretty much all whiskey. So what we've got here is this is barrel. I'm gonna need my specs. This would be release number 8. It's an 8-year-old low rye, so it's a low rye bourbon, 43.6, which this is barrel number 79. I'm sorry, bottle number 79. And this is a single barrel. Every sip is a testament to the relentless pursuit of perfection. Just as a working dog never falters in its duty, Working Dog Bourbon stands as a symbol of unwavering commitment, each bottle delivering a truly exceptional and memorable whiskey experience. Well, with David at the helm, I could see why. Distilled in Indiana, blended and bottled by White Bear Spirits in Cascade, Wisconsin. So that is that. Now let's get to the juice, shall we? Oh man. You're gonna like this. This is it's pretty nice, man. It's right in the sweet spot. It's right in the pocket. And if anybody knows who Dave Sweet was, the name of Dave Sweet is very reminiscent of his palate. It's because he unabashedly said that he loves. He has a sweet tooth when it comes to bourbons, but he also likes rich notes and things like that. He was a really well-adjusted, well-rounded connoisseur of whiskey. I've watched several interviews with David, and it's very apparent that he was pretty well-rounded. Probably as well-rounded as it gets. A lot of professionals trusted him. Now, my palate is very similar. I like sweet. I mean, look at me. I like sweet. I like robust. I like tenderness. And this little beauty's got all that rolling around in there and a bag of pretzels. All right. So with me, I have a different, everybody's process on how they're going to decipher the smell, the nose of the whiskey is going to be different, right? You can only relate to the notes of the nose by your own past experience. Have you ever smelled orange peel? Yeah. Have you ever smelled a burnt orange peel? Maybe. Have you ever had grandma's pancakes with like syrup on them? Have you ever had cinnamon toast crunch? Have you ever had, a toasted marshmallow or caramel or vanilla? Or like a Werther's candy? Have you ever smelled rainwater? Have you ever smelled freshly cut grass? Or, these things, you can ball them into these little nuggets of information to convey onto others on what your experience was. And that's what this channel is all about. And then, in that process, we discover stories. Stories about where you smelled that smell. Where you were when you smelled that smell. And us whiskey drinkers, we always seem to I guess a good term is we always bond over the whiskey with great memories, right? And some more interesting than others. That's what this channel is all about. It's bonding over memories of things you smelled and tasted, and just life experiences. So I'm going to go in for another. But on these notes, I'm getting like a tobacco, citrusy. There's a hint of vanilla in there. But I'm also getting just a hint of like a lemon drop. Interesting. So the color is wonderful. It's got a nice coloration to it. Nice legs, as you can see. Really nice. But being a low ABV, I'm sure David made sure that whatever barrel this came from, he already figured it out. Like once he tasted straight out of the barrel at the full barrel proof of whatever it was. Yeah. See, I'm not getting a big alcohol rush of the. It wisps up nicely, and it's sort of like the citrusy. There's not a lot of pepper in there. You don't feel the peppery burn. A pleasant barrel note. If you know what that tastes like, then. Because I think it's wrapped in a confectionery cigar tobacco, if that makes sense. And I'm telling you right now, this was my complimentary bottle. I visited there and spoke with some of the staff, and before I left, they made sure I had something to take home and do a review on. And I would tell you this, that if it wasn't any good, I would just say the staff was great, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The whiskey is okay, it's this. But that's not the case. The staff was exceptional. The place is beautiful. And the whiskey is like the cherry on the cake. Not getting cherries though, not yet. But definitely vanilla, confectionery, sugar. Almost like it's along the citrus note. I would think that the rye would be a little higher in this, but it's not. Now they do have a few coming up that I think are high rise. And how do I know this? Well, I'll save that for another video. But check out the Estate Winery. They have a huge, sprawling 600-plus acre hunt club there. And then they also have the winery. And they have this big spread outside with like 2 stages. And I mean, they could put like 2,000 people out there. It's a nutty place. There's ponds and there's a hunt club. The hunt club is beautiful. There's a clubhouse. And there's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But I can tell you this, it's worth the trip to Cascade. Like 100%. If they're going to be producing whiskey like this. I mean, this is some of the best ones I've had. And to think it's coming from Wisconsin. Interesting. I think I might, I mean, this is so user-friendly because of the ABV on it. It's, you know, if you're not into bourbons, this might be a very good one to start with. Like if you're going to think about getting into it, but don't like the harshness of some, you know, and let's just put it this way. All the beginners out there that are checking out this channel for the first time, join me, join us, join the, whatever this is, and just be aware that we're going to be a user-friendly channel. So basically, it's always good to have a following, or, you know, follow somebody else that is into this. And they might state what something tastes like. But I think it's better for them to just hang around and wait for you to figure it out, because sometimes, you know, when you're doing a tasting, if the person that's asking you to try something for the first time and you are new to this, do yourself a favor and ask them what the ABV is before you go ahead and throw that down your mouth hole. Okay? Just do that. Because if you don't, a whiskey nerd is normally just going to let you have, unless he's or she is very knowledgeable and knows that you don't give someone who's new, you know, 125 proof anything, unless, you know, they're trying to get a laugh, because it's not pleasant for somebody who is just starting. It's not pleasant, people. Don't listen to anybody if they say, oh, this drinks like it's only 110. Don't do that. Just stay in that 84, 86, maybe. Under 90 would be good. You know, that's what I would recommend to anybody out there who's just starting. Start at a low ABV so that you're not going to be put off by the, you know, the alcohol content. It's gonna hit you wrong. Trust me. And then you're going to be turned off for whiskey forever. So you whiskey nerds out there, if you're ever going to turn somebody on to something, make sure that it's low ABV or cut or something. Like do it yourself. If it's high and you want them to taste certain things, cut the hell out of it. Knock it down with some ice or something. But this is only 87.4? Yeah, 87.4 is what this is. So this would be right in the sweet spot. And literally this is super sweet, so that'd be helpful. So the other thing is when I made mistakes during my tenure as a whiskey, you know, an ambassador to the palate of other people that come to my house, and we've gone through hundreds of different bottles. People from all over the country have sat across from me for years, and I've shared the stories, and I've shared multiple different types of whiskeys and bourbons, you know, ryes, things like that. And it's all whiskey, but we're just going to say that right there. But the biggest thing is the stories that I've listened to and that I've told. And if the person is battling a fire in their throat, they're not listening to you. Okay, they're just not listening. They're not listening at all. They're like reaching for water, or they're like, holy crap, no, you know. And the experience is horrible. So what I like to try to do is give them something that's less proof, and then they can decipher what those notes are that they're smelling from a personal standpoint. Like most people that I drink with for the first time are saying, hey, maybe this, you know what this, I'm like, this smells like this. And then, but you don't want to lead them on too much. You want them to discover it for themselves. That's the key point, is just let them discover it for themselves. And all you're doing is you're going to help guide them. That's it. And that's what my job is here on this channel, on the Poor Guy Whiskey Review. My hat's off to David Sweet for this one. This is a really, really nice bottle. If you got yourself down to Cascade, Wisconsin, and went to the Solu Estate Winery, which on the weekends, though they're not open during the week in the winter time. I think their hours change, but get your keisters down there and get you some of this. This is release number 8, and I highly, highly recommend it. This is one of my favorites. Like, I can't remember the last time I had, especially from the state of Wisconsin, something that is this palatable and this easy. And for the greenhorns out there, the smoothness, this has got it. It's a wonderful, wonderful, flavorful sipper. And it's also, I suppose you could use it in a drink, but I wouldn't ruin it by putting other stuff in there. I wouldn't even ruin this by putting ice in there. It's just right. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Well, you could drink whiskey the way you want to drink it, but I'm just going to drink it like this. Anyway, I'm Jeff Mohr. I am the Poor Guy Whiskey Review Guy. No, I'm Jeff Mohr, and you're watching the Poor Guy Whiskey Review. Wait, no, never that. The best stories start with the poor decision. The best stories always start out with poor decisions. Cheers.